Hello again. So, what is delineation? I'm only going to address delineation as it relates to the ADOS FBA lineage. Now, as I explained in the other video, ADOS and FBA is not a group or organization, it is a lineage. Just the same as if you were Japanese and you have Japanese parents, therefore your lineage traces back to being Japanese. Because there is a misunderstanding as to the current Americans who are black, who live in North America, being who we are, there has been this misunderstanding that all of us are the same. This is not true no matter what continent you go to. There are people who have different backgrounds, even if they look similar. No matter where you go, that is the case. North America is no different. But with the black people who live on the North American continent, there were those that were here prior to Columbus. There were those that came over as slaves because they were kidnapped from the African continent and brought to America. Now, the argument has been that the people who were brought to America from Africa were basically, captured by their own relatives. Well, we're now finding out that wasn't true. It's a particular group of people who were on the African continent at the time who were not of the same lineage, which is why the people who live there, and at the time, I don't know what they were called. They're now Guyanese or Ghanaian and Nigerian. The people now have a different title than they did back then. So fast forward, or rather go backwards rather. So there was a dispute between the tribes. Now Africa is full of different tribes. Everyone knows this. There was a group of people who were not part of those other tribes. Those were the people that were taken into slavery and sold specifically to America, the North American continent. And those people have recently awakened and they call themselves something else. I'm not getting into that in this video, podcast, whatever you want to call it, because I'm specifically addressing what delineation is and helping you to understand where it comes from, okay? So the tribe that was sent to America, that was one group. Upon their arrival, there was another group that was already here. But the white people, or the Caucasians, Spaniards and English and whoever else, they were enslaving the ones that were here, as well as the ones that came over on the boat. All right? So those two groups have, yes, as their powers combined. I'm kidding. Okay, really. So ultimately, those were the people that became embroiled in the transatlantic slave trade and were brought into what's called chattel slavery. Completely different from any other slavery on the planet. All right? So that's what I need you guys to understand. The people who were in chattel slavery had children, and their children had children. All of these people built America. They were here before America was ratified into being America. Understand, that's what makes them foundational. So, if your family is from Nigeria, Ghana, Haiti, wherever, you are not FBA and you're not ADOS because you're not part of that bloodline. Most other groups are immigrants. They came here by choice. They come from different lineages. If they're Japanese, Chinese, whatever, they call themselves Japanese American, Chinese American, Nigerian American, and so forth. The problem was that ADOS and FBA did not have a name because we were just American. So we had to make up a name so that people will stop confusing us with everyone else. So when we go in and say, we want money for what happened during the boycotts. We want money for what happened to our ancestors in slavery. We want money for what happened to our DNA lines, for our lost names, for our lost lands, for our lost heritage. We are talking about the people who are related directly to those who are the foundation builders of America, who are black in color. So yeah, there are black people here that are not FBA. Just like there are people who are American who are not FBA. So that's all it is. It is making a distinctive separation so that whenever an FBA person is making a claim, an argument, or a conversation, people understand it's coming from a group of people who built this nation, who laid the foundation, who's been here just as long as, if not longer, than anyone else who can call themselves American. Okay? That's it. So it's no shade to any other group. Nobody hates any other group. We have to make the distinction because when it comes down to it, we can no longer just say black because we have too many people from other countries now claiming blackness when it's beneficial, when there's money involved, or when there's something to benefit or gain, but then severing that as soon as there's a problem or when you have to fight for it or if there's any negative fallout, they run. So what happens, we get left with the problems while they get to take the money and leave, so to speak. And we're stopping that. That's all this is about. We are putting an end to all of the mixing. It's no longer people of color. It's no longer anybody who, it's no longer adding a white man who's at the top of the food chain in America can put on a dress and become a minority. And then he can qualify for the same loan that I'm trying to qualify for as an actual disenfranchised black American woman. So now the loan can say FBA ADOS only, and that gets rid of the excess so that it's mine because it's supposed to be mine. It's what we fought for. And I don't have to keep arguing with people who should not have qualified in the first place because we're not coming to the table with the same amount of history, baggage, or claim to whatever it is that's being presented. So that's all it is. Delineation means separating, identifying, and making sure people understand who is who. So at the end of the day, everyone is able to claim what it is that they qualify for without mixing in to groups and things that they don't qualify for. And in most cases, they don't even need.